Alright, so today we are going to be doing a mixture of a few things. So we are going to be creating, let me move my Word document out of the way for a second. We're going to be creating a new virtual machine today in your VMware workstation. And the reason that we're going to do this is because we are going to put BitLocker on this, but I don't want you to get rid of your snapshots if you have any. Okay, and your snapshots, right, if you have those, so like on your Windows 10 machine, so let me close out of here really quick. If you have any, this prevents you from having to go through the reinstallation process if you make a mistake on your VM. So if you don't have a snapshot on your Windows 10 machine that we use on a daily basis, I would highly recommend it. So my snapshot is a fresh install after I've installed VMware tools. But again, for the lab that we are going to be doing for Windows security for this particular unit, we cannot have any snapshots. So I'm going to have you create a new virtual machine. So that we can specifically put BitLocker on there, play around with it a little bit, and then we're just going to go ahead and delete the VM when we're done. Speaking of deleting VMs, your Windows 8 machine and your Windows 7 machine, you can go ahead and delete. We don't need those anymore, and all you need to do to delete a VM is right-click on the tab, go to Manage, and click Delete from Disk, and it will delete those from your disk and free up some storage for you. Okay, let me go back here. Let me go create a new virtual machine. We're going to step through like we normally would, leave the default for VMware compatibility because we're using VMware Workstation 17. Install our operating system later because we don't have that key. Let's select our guest operating system, which is going to be Windows 10 64-bit. To keep this one straight, I'm going to name it BitLocker. Alright, we need to make sure we have UEFI because BitLocker will not work with BIOS. Alright, yeah, we'll just make it quick, nice and quick. And we're going to delete this anyways. So I just have a little higher than 4 gigs for my memory. This doesn't particularly matter for this lab. Our I/O controller type we'll select next. Leave the default on NVMe. Create our new virtual disk. 60 is plenty. I don't need to specify that. And then I'm going to customize my hardware. Select my ISO file. Mine's going to look a little bit different than yours because I'm pulling from my, there we go, server, here we go, ISO is Windows 10. Alright, so I'm going to click close because I have that, and finish. I'm going to see if I can kind of do 2 birds with 1 stone. I've never actually tried this before, so I'm just going to, alright, I'm going to go to encrypt. Alright, we're going to do password 01, exclamation mark like we have been doing. Okay, we're going to select encrypt. Okay, then we need to go back to hardware and we need to add that TPM which is required for BitLocker. Okay. Okay. Let me do it. Okay, awesome. So I'm going to go ahead and power on this virtual machine. Press any key to boot. Alright, so while that is booting, let me come over here. And we are going to click next, install now. Sorry, I thought I had my document up that I was wanting. Alright, don't have a product key. We are going to select Pro. Alright. And then if you guys want to go ahead and bring up your study guide while this is installing, we can kind of go over that at the same time. We'll select that unallocated space. Alright. So We are talking all about Windows security in this module, and we have some local security policies that we can enable. Oh shoot, that's why I created that VM. Hold on. Alright, my system that I'm using right now, I can't really demonstrate on because my system is part of my domain, and because it's part of my domain, I cannot enforce local security policies. So let me pull up my VM. And we can take a look on there. I'm going to move this down just a little bit so you can see. Okay, so we're going to go, let me free it here. Local security policy. Okay, now remember, your BitLocker one should still be going. Okay, we're just going to kind of move over and work on the study guide a little bit. Alright, so we have our available settings for password policies. You're going to find this in your local security policy. So we have our password policy and then our available settings where we can set the maximum password age, so how long you can use that password until it expires, minimum password age before you can change it, password length, so we can increase this up to 14 if we would like, and then apply it. We can, let me go back to 7 because it's not going to like my current password, that password 1. We can also do minimum password length, audit policy, password complexity, and if we want a definition of what these require, you can go to explain. So this will require 3 of the 4 following, right? You'll need uppercase, a lowercase, a letter, or sorry, a number, and a syllable. You need 3 of the 4. So if I enabled that, the password that we have, so that password 01 exclamation mark would technically fit that because we technically have 4 of the 4. And then we can also store passwords using reversible encryption. Reversible encryption is not good, right? Basically, it's the same as plain text. Alright, number 2, our account lockout policy. So this is basically used to prevent unauthorized access into Windows 10. So our account lockout duration, so we can basically say how long an account should be locked out for. And then how many attempts, invalid attempts, right? So enter your password in incorrectly how many times before you get locked out. So I can put 3. So if I incorrectly type in my password 3 times, my account gets locked out. And then I can define, so suggested values, how long my account is locked out for, and then how long before that reset counter begins. So if I type my password in incorrectly 3 times, I am then locked out for 30 minutes. Now I need to decide for that counter, right, what resets it back to 0. Is it 30 minutes? Is it an hour? What is it? So if I set it for an hour, okay, I would be able to type in my password 1 time. It'd have to be correct, otherwise I get locked out again for another 30 minutes. See what I'm saying? Okay, so be very careful on these. But basically, it is meant to prevent people from trying to brute force your password. So just sitting down at your system and typing as many passwords as they want into the system until they eventually get it correct and they're in. This is to prevent that from happening. So what settings can we control with this? Again, it's these 3 right here that we've just talked about. What can you configure to allow only certain users to shut down the system? So we can actually go to local policies. Let me expand this. User rights assignment. It's in here somewhere. Let me expand this. Or no, sorry, it's under audit policy. No, hold on. User rights assignment. There we go. I was on the right one. Alright, and then shut down system. So as of right now, everyone, right? Because everyone should be a part of your users. And we can double check who is a part of our users. And this is where we went in the last lab that you guys completed. So local users, we'll go to groups. Let's see who's a part of our users groups. So here is my standard user that I created, who's Joe, and I can see who he's a member of, so he's just a member of users, okay? So if I removed users from the users group from being able to shut down the system, Joe would not be able to restart the system. And the reason that this could be a good choice for your company or even for you personally is if, say, you're sharing the system with someone or in a company, you have users that are shutting down their system every night. And if they're shutting down their system every night, those updates aren't being applied. That's not a good thing, right? We need those updates. So if you have an issue with that, you can basically say that only administrators or backup operators can shut down the system, and that way your updates are being applied. Alright, so I'm going to cancel out of this guy. I'm going to go back over here, and let's go to our security options. So we also have the option for interactive logons, where we can make, whoops, hold on. We can make a little message, right, for users attempting to log in that is shown. Okay, again, the default's no message. And we will find that under that interactive logon, okay, for security options. And there is a little lab that I'm going to have you do where you apply this. App Locker. App Locker, I actually haven't seen it used out in the wild. Basically, it allows companies to control what apps can be downloaded and what apps cannot, to prevent applications from being installed onto a system that shouldn't be. Alright, Windows Firewall. So with Windows Firewall, we can actually allow, oops, let's see, advanced settings, which will take us into our Windows Defender Firewall, where we have a list of inbound rules that are allowed. Okay, and then we also can deny them as well. So these are all my allowed. Okay, so if, ooh, I need to be very careful about this. Let's see, I'll join router. I could, well, this is my VM. I'm fine. I could disable the rule. So basically, I would disallow this from coming into a network. Well, going out of my network. Sorry, I'm in outbound rules. Okay, so basically, I can allow what comes in and what goes out. All right, and this is through the firewall. All right, let's see, number 8. Blank is the security process that records the occurrence of specific operating system events in security log. This is auditing. And auditing, we can do lots of stuff. With auditing, we can basically audit any logon event, so who tries to log in, who does log in successfully, unsuccessfully, etc., which, again, is very, very important. Now, in a domain, you would not want to use the local security policy to do this, but if you think someone is trying to get onto your home system and you want to know, or, you know, etc., you can definitely set this. So, audit account logon events, you can set it for success and for failure, or just for failure, so if someone's trying to hack into your account, you would know. So, kind of a cool setting. Alright. I am going to quickly, so we're going to go down to number 9. I'm going to sign out as my administrator account, and I'm going to log in as Joe Schmo. I hope I kept his password the same. Okay, so I am under, let me verify here really quick. Where'd my mouse go? There we go. Okay, so I'm under Mr. Schmo. So if I type in command prompt and I try and run this as an administrator, I get what's called user account control. Now, with user account control, okay, there's many reasons why we have this. So think about it this way, okay? You have grandma, okay? And grandma gets a malvertisement, right, that shows that her system has been infected and Microsoft needs to hurry up and clean up her system. So click here to speak with a representative or call this number. And then when she calls the number, right, they say, oh, yeah, you just need to go to this website, download remote desktop or some flavor of remote desktop, and we'll remote in and we'll clean your system. Okay, so if she was an administrator, okay, this would pop up, but it wouldn't require a password. She could just click yes, okay? If she was a user like Mr. Schmo here, right, she would need the administrative password in order to download that remote desktop application that Microsoft, here's my quotations, Microsoft, okay, is trying to get her to install to, again, quotations, clean her system, okay? So, this definitely prevents that from happening if she is just a standard user, because she does not have the permission to install an app. Now, if grandma's account, sign out, was an administrator account, because if she is the one that set up the system herself, and I'm just using command prompts, this would be the same, right, for any application, okay? Command prompt, run as administrator, she'd be able to click yes, right, for anything. And wham bam, they would be in, they'd clean her computer and get who knows what, do who knows what, whatever. So user account is there for everyone's protection, okay? So in an enterprise environment, you would obviously want all of your domain users to only be domain users and have a few select admin accounts. Now, for your admin account, you do not want to use that admin account as your daily driver, okay? Think of your daily driver as a Toyota, something that you don't mind putting miles on, you know, like it can do certain things, but, you know, it only has enough privilege to do what you need to do for your job, no more, no less. And then your admin account, he's your special account that you take out on special occasions, okay? He is your G-Wagon or whatever, right? Your Ferrari. And you only take him out on special occasions when you, for example, have that UAC or user account control that needs an admin account, okay? So no matter what type of position that you hold, whether you are a sysadmin, whether you are director of IT, you will still use a domain user account or user account, right, every single day for your normal day-to-day tasks. Do not use your domain admin account as your daily user account. That is very, very, very bad practice, okay? So there's my little TED Talk. Now, what is malware? So malware is software designed to perform unauthorized acts on your computer. So malware is going to include your viruses, your worms, and your spyware. Okay. Think of it this way: if you are using, I'm back on the administrator account, domain admin account. If someone were to get access to your domain admin account, figure out your password, whatever it may be, think of how much trouble that you could put your company in, your system in, your network in, your whole entire environment in, right, if that is what you're using, right? Because every time you use that account, right, you could put the company in jeopardy. What if you got you had a phishing attempt, right, and it looks like you're signing into the company portal, and you go ahead and put in your username and password? If you're so used to using your domain admin as your daily user, you put in that domain admin and then your password, on that fake login site, again, you're in trouble. Whereas if you are using a domain user every single day and you accidentally put that into a phishing attempt, or the fake login, right, for your company, you can take a deep breath, right, and you're not going to cause as much damage, right? It's a little easier and simpler to solve. Okay, so spyware. Spyware is software that is silently installed on your system that's going to monitor your behavior, perform actions, etc. I really wish I could show you my, hold on, actually. Let me see if this is going to work. I have no idea if this is going to work. New camera design. Okay. So, can you see? Okay. So, let me go closer. This might not work. Okay. So, here you can see my camera has maybe the little light on, right? With spyware, okay, spyware can make it, there's just a little check, right, that you can disable that camera light. If you disable that camera light, you can very easily spy on someone, use their camera, and they have no idea that it's being used. Okay, so that's a good reason never to bring your laptop, your tablet, or your cell phone in the bathroom, your bedroom, or anywhere that you are getting changed or dressed. Okay, because that light, it's worthless, right? So people can be watching you, seeing what you are doing, monitoring your behavior without your knowledge because of spyware. And number 12, do viruses need your permission to be installed? Oh. Okay. All right. 13. Oh. Okay. Let's pause on 13. Click yes. Yes for US. Skip the layout. Okay, let's talk about symmetric encryption. Symmetric means same. So symmetric encryption uses the same key to both encrypt and decrypt. So basically, if someone loses the key, they hold all the power, the person who has the new key, right? So not the most secure. Okay, so think of your front door, right? You have the same key to both unlock and to lock your door. Whereas with asymmetric decryption, you have one key that locks and one key that unlocks. So a public key and a private key, a little more secure. Okay, 15. With hashing, can you decrypt data? In theory, no, but in reality, absolutely yes. And what happens if you lose your encryption key? Your file is basically unrecoverable for now, right? Until we teach you the secrets. Why do we need to stay on top of Windows updates? Well, because there's normally security patches, right? And if you don't stay on top of updates, you're basically making your device more susceptible to threats. We don't want that. Okay, set up for personal use. Sorry, we're going back to this really quick. Click next. Offline account. Limited experience, because we are not using a Microsoft account. BitLocker. We'll do itty bitty BitLocker. Itty bitty. Okay. Password. We'll just password 01. Like this. Because it is so much easier with virtual machines when you keep all of your accounts the same. Okay, we're not doing any banking, anything super secret, so it does not matter. If someone wants to hack into my VM, okay, here you go. Okay. 18, can you control Windows updates? Absolutely, you can pause them. Let me go back to my Windows 10 demo updates. We can pause them. In an enterprise environment, we would want to test them before we deploy them. Oh, I actually had these. Pause, because, yeah, I was having some issues with my old Windows 10 VM. It may have gotten shut down during updates, and I may have accidentally broke it, so I did pause them, but this one, I technically don't even have it connected to a network, even though it thinks it is. So I'm good. I'm safe. I'm not doing anything crazy in here. All right. Let's finish up 19. And if I asked you to secure a Windows 10 machine, would you be able to? And I'll let you answer that one as you please. All right. So we're going to click Not Now. This doesn't matter. This is, again, just a dump machine. Skip. Not now. Okay. So remember, this is our BitLocker machine that we are just strictly using for this lab. Okay. Here in a second, I am going to take, I'm going to show you an example. You take a screenshot of your, what do we call, temporary virtual machine. Okay, so here is my Word document that I'm going to show you guys kind of how I want, because I've had a few students who have had issues, not issues, I guess who haven't understood, and maybe that is my fault actually, who haven't understood exactly kind of what I'm looking for like study guides and whatnot, or even some of the labs. Okay, so you guys are going to see something, hold on. Okay, I'm going to make sure I don't show anything that I'm not supposed to. Okay, let me go here. Whoa, hello. Security features. So for like our in-class lab, here is kind of what I am expecting. I would like you to download the study guide and fill out the study guide and turn it in. Move this over here. So then for what are your available password settings? We have enforce password history, enforce password age, etc., etc., etc. So I really would appreciate you guys filling out these study guides, and basically they're yours, right? And so if you ever have a question on any of this information, you can go back and look at your study guides. But if you are just filling out a notepad with the answers, for one, it's a big pain for me to grade. Enforce password history, and you can easily forget that I have multiple fill in the blanks, so it's going to make it more difficult on you and easier for you to miss something. Okay, and if you try and look at this, you're like, what the heck was I talking about, right? So this is what I'm wanting from you guys for your study guides, is please fill out what I have for you. Okay, let me go back here. Okay. So if I had then, next thing for your labs, fillable labs, okay, take a screenshot. Okay, so if I had a document like this, take a screenshot of your temporary virtual machine. Okay, I'm going to use my snipping tool. Okay, if you are using a Windows machine, you can use snipping tool. Let me move this down here. I have a lot of stuff open, so don't judge me. Okay, snipping tool right here. Let me move this back up so you can see. Okay, so snipping tool. Let me go new. Okay, so here's what my snipping tool looks like. Okay, so if I told you to take a screenshot of, say, your desktop, okay, click and drag and let go, and then you will click copy and then I can come back over here to this Word document. Okay, I can end it over however you want, and I can, oops, sorry, I hit Control V out of habit, but I can paste it, right? And then I can just resize this nice and easy, wham bam, and I'm done. Okay, take a screenshot of BitLocker. Okay, so I'm going to minimize this, minimize my snipping tool, and let's check BitLocker. Okay, so I'm going to click Manage BitLocker. Okay, so we have BitLocker turned off. Let's turn BitLocker on. Ooh, okay. So let me do this. Okay, so the error, it didn't like that ISO that we have in there. So let's just unconnect it. Click OK. All right, let's see if that works. So BitLocker, turn on BitLocker. There we go. Okay, so let's, I think the easiest way that I have found with the VMs, if I remember correctly, is to print to PDF because it actually thinks that it's being printed. So we're just going to print and then save it to your desktop, which is not good practice. BitLocker key. Theoretically, you would want to save this to either a flash drive that goes in a safe, right? Somewhere where it's not accessible, or possibly even on a secure file server. Okay? Or you could even print it off and put it in a safe. That definitely works too. Okay, so I've saved that key. Actually, let's take a screenshot of that, and I'll have that as part of your lab for points. So you guys are watching me create a lab. Okay, so let's do, oops, take a screenshot of your BitLocker, what do we want to call that? A BitLocker recovery key. Recovery key. Okay, so then I'm going to tab over. I'm going to minimize this, open up snipping tool again, and if you are using anything other than Windows, so like for Macs, it's Command, Shift, and 4, and it will take a screenshot as well. Okay, so here's my BitLocker recovery key. Okay, I'm going to copy this, and then I'm going to open up my Word document again, and I'm going to take a screenshot. And if you ever have Philip as an instructor, he's very particular, and I will be too once if you guys have me next semester. I do want for documentation and everything to kind of look nice and lined up, right? It's just way easier to read. You only need to take screenshots of what is being asked of you or what you should be clicking, right? So let's go back to here. I'll kind of show you. Minimize this. All right, so I've done the key. I'm good. So we have a couple of options, and for this, I really don't care what you select. I would say use the faster one because this is a new PC. Okay, click next. We'll do the new encryption mode because we're not going to be moving the device. Let's skip the check. Okay, and we'll click Start Encrypting. All right, encryption is progress. Click for more information. All right, so if I were to take a screenshot of your drive encrypting, all you would need to do for your screenshot is take this, okay, and then paste it in here. So take a screenshot of your drive in the encryption process. Okay, then we can make this all nice and fancy. Okay, so it all lines up. See, looks nice and pretty. Okay, I like pretty. All right, it is complete. Okay, all right, and now let's test it. All right, before we test it, let's add this. Take a screenshot of the BitLocker screen. The BitLocker screen. Okay. All right, so let's put it to use. Okay. All right, so I am going to restart my system. Oh, I didn't add a password. Ooh. Okay, so I'll show you the difference. Okay. This is what did who's the painter guy? Jordan. Bob. What's it, Bob? The Happy Accident. This is a happy accident. Why can I not think of that? Oops. So it did not ask me for my BitLocker password. It would if we were to move the drive to a new system. Let's do. We need to BitLocker. TPM administration. Clear TPM, so that's good. What is our... Okay, that's good. Alright, so... Oh, local group policy. Ooh. There we go. Alright, we need to enable that password. Okay, so we need to go to computer configuration, administrative, templates, Windows components, BitLocker. There we go. And then we need to operating system drives and require additional. There we go. That is what we need. Require the additional. All right, we need to select enable. Oh, BitLocker compatible. Click. Okay. And then we need TPM. Okay. TPM. Alright, I might need to turn it off. I'm going to turn off BitLocker really quick. Okay, so it's done decrypting, so I'm going to turn on BitLocker. There we go. Enter in my key. I'm going to use that same password 01. Alright, so here's our happy accident. Oh. Numbers. Oh, well, hold on. Let me turn on BitLocker. Okay, let's do numbers then. We'll do 8675309. Oh, if I had numlock turned on. 8675309. 8675309. 7. There we go. Alright. Print the recovery key again. Save. Replace it. Alright. Crypt. Okay. So now I can show you the difference. So there's our happy accident. I know it's a little more time consuming, but at least you guys got answers for the study guide and answers for this. Whereas if you try and do this BitLocker lab without watching this video, again, you'll run into some issues. Okay, encryption's complete. Let's restart. And then I'll have you take your last snapshot when this power's on. There's screenshot. There we go. Alright, new screenshot. Take our little BitLocker screen on start up. I'm gonna, ooh, that looks a little wonky. There we go. A little longer. There we go. I think we can actually, I haven't played around with these square. There we go. And then we can make them look nice and pretty. Square. Oop. That doesn't make sense. Okay. We're gonna do that. I need to play around with that a little more. I know you can also size and position them if you really want to get crazy with it, and make sure they're all the same. You can also use the controller shift control, and I think it snaps into place, and so they're all kind of the same. So control keyboard, or control on your keyboard, hold it. Alright, and you have this. I didn't enter my password in time now, so it turned off on me. Okay, let me show you one thing other that, so let's say I entered in the password incorrectly multiple times. Okay, incorrect, incorrect, incorrect. It should lock on me. Unless we need to set that up. We might actually need to set that up. Oh. No. I was really hoping it would lock me out. Okay. Well, 8675309. 8675309. Okay. My guess is it's part of that policy, and if I would have looked through, I probably would have seen password 01. So group policy, administrative templates, BitLocker, operating system drives. My guess is it's somewhere in here. So we have this guy enabled. Okay. Yeah, my guess is it's on here, where if you enter it incorrectly so many times, I'd have to look through. But if you enter it incorrectly so many times, it will lock you out. And then you need that recovery key, remember, that we saved and we supposedly printed out. But other than that, that is all I have for you this week. So you have your study guide, you have this BitLocker, and then I have one other lab for you guys, along with a small little writing assignment in our discussion that I'm really enjoying your responses from. So if you have any questions on those, please let me know. Reach out to me. Discord obviously is the best way to get a hold of me. For those of you who haven't reached out to me and had any issues with the NDG labs, I can actually jump in at the same time that you guys are in there, which is really cool. Cool feature that NDG has. And so I can take a look and see what the issue is and help you along. I won't knock you, I promise. So if you do have issues, please, please, please reach out to me. I am glad to help. Other than that, I hope you have a great week. Thanks.